This conference will now be recorded.
கணேஷ் எங்க பிரின்சிபல் சார் ஜாயின் பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணிடலாம்.
All right, sir. Sure, sir.
Why is it coming in my name? Yeah.
It's a good number, Ganesh.
It's a
Little good number, sir.
Oh, yes, good number.
I thought it was
சார் என்கிட்ட எனக்கு மெசேஜ் கொடுத்துட்டாங்க. ஜாயின் பண்ண உடனே ஆரம்பிச்சிடலாம்.
All right, sir.
Excellent. Good going.
I think sir வந்துட்டாங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் சார்.
வந்துட்டாங்களா?
ஆமா சார் நேம் டிஸ்ப்ளே ஆச்சு.
ஓகே ஓகே. அவங்க வீடியோ ஆன் பண்ணிட்டு வந்துட்டாங்க சார்.
வந்துட்டாங்க இல்லையா?
வீடியோ டிஸ்ப்ளே ஆச்சுன்னா வந்துட்டாங்க.
Morning. Good
சார்
evening,
ஸ்டார்ட்
sir.
பண்ணலாமா
Good
சார்?
Yeah, I'm ready,
குட்
sir.
ஈவினிங் சார்.
Yeah, I'm ready.
சார்
Sir, good evening,
okay.
sir. I'm Ganesh Subramanian, sir. Let me
Hello,
introduce.
sir. Good evening. Welcome, sir. Welcome to MCC.
So, thank you very much, sir. And she is Shantamina.
Hello, ma'am. Hello. Welcome to
sir.
MCC, ma'am. Yeah.
Sir, shall we start, sir?
Yeah.
Yes,
Ready,
yes. Start.
Dear students and participants, I would first introduce myself, and before that, let me extend my warm welcome to you all, as well as I take this opportunity to thank Principal Sir of MCC for giving us the opportunity to do a program of this kind with the students of such a great institution. Really, this is one of the institutions where I actually wanted to do my PG. Unfortunately, I could not, but I always have a very high regard and respect for this institution because of one of the main reasons why I wanted to do my PG in this institution was the alumni, the strength of the civil services, civil servant alumni of this college. And dear students who have been admitted here and who have been continuing your course here, this itself is one of the very, very important motivating aspect of your career, because you are in the right hands, you are in the right institution, which has been a platform for many who have who have become civil servants in the past, and very senior officers, like very popular and most important officers of civil servants of India, like KPS Menon sir, AP Venkateswaran sir, former IPS DGP Arul sir. They have all been alumni of MCC, and so I hope many of you who have been showing interest in civil service exams will come out with flying colors. And for associating with this institution is the greatest opportunity for us, and I again thank you, sir, for the opportunity that you have given us. And also I've gone through the whole process of civil service examination between 95 and 2001, and unfortunately I couldn't make into the civil service rank of that time. So in 2001 I started the Ganesh IAS Academy in Chennai, which happens to be the first professional private coaching academy. Prior to that, we used to go to Delhi. There was a situation that we need to go to Delhi only, and we wanted to stop that, so that people from Chennai, people from all over Tamil Nadu who do not have the financial and other support to go to make a long travel to go to Delhi and prepare for civil services examination and all. And since 2001, we have been running this successfully, and there are more than 1,500 of our students who have been selected to civil service examination. And I may now, with this short introduction, I don't want to take up much of your time, because you have a successful candidate of us, Shantamina, who has secured All India 453rd rank this year, waiting to join the service. And so I don't want to take much of time, and I may request Principal Sir to utter a few words to motivate the students and as well as us, so that we can start up the program and get into that quickly, sir.
Yeah.
So may I welcome you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Good evening. Am I audible? Am I audible? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir. You're audible.
Yes, sir. You're audible.
Dr. Elango, Director of Institute for Administrative Services Coaching, and Mr. Ganesh Subramanian, And Ms. Santamena was qualified for the civil services recently. It's a privilege being among you in this evening and addressing this August gathering. And this Institute for Administrative Services has been there for a decade, and Dr. Ilango has been doing a wonderful job in bringing it and in refining it. And we can see, always whenever you try to institute certain organizations or certain units, the outcome is the place where you try to evaluate how this unit is functioning. Looking at that, we have seen 4 students already have got qualified in UPSC examinations, and around 50 have got qualified in NET. And we see that some strategic efforts have to be made in nourishing this particular unit in our institution. And as Mr. Ganesh was pointing out, that MCC was known for producing a lot of IAs in the past, and still, during this admission season, I see that many of the IAS officers of the past used to call me, and they keep on talking for sometimes more than half an hour. And they never, because they're all very busy people, and they take time to call and talk to me, even though they call me for admissions, but they don't mind talking to me for a long time, because the kind of a sense of belonging I see in them shows that how the college has contributed to producing more IAS and IPS officers. And after a long time, I think it's a high time that we need to renew those culture of, I think I remember when I was studying in Loyola, both MCC and Loyola were known for producing more IAS and IPS. And I do not know whether the value system has gone out for writing this particular examination, or people have moved to some other aspects of career planning. I do not know. But one thing I would say, that it's more than a hard working, it's a smart working that is what is needed for this similar civil services examinations. And mostly I needed students who have content, but they do not make informed strategic decisions. I think if this kind of approach is given, provided to them through this kind of webinars, I think thanks to the pandemic crisis that has moved us to come and sit before the system and keep attending a lot of webinars. And I'm sure through this lockdown, people really have got intellectually equipped through a lot of webinars, and I'm sure that would lead to a lot of informed decisions in their lives. So this particular arrangement, I think this is a second attempt by Dr. Ilango in conducting a webinar on because of IACS. And I'm sure the outcome or the takeaways from this particular session would be very useful for our students, and we will see the benefit of this, that we will harvest the benefit of this maybe in the ensuing year. So I wish all the best, Dr. Ilango, in all your endeavors, and I wish the speaker, Santamena, all the best. And when you speak, when you have gone through the system and examinations, when you speak, I think normally it has a value. When we speak in a passive way, that won't appeal. But when you have gone through the examinations and if you share your experiences, that would add value to the students' educative experiences. Thank you for inviting me. I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, for the very valuable words sir has given us. And let me introduce Santamena as well. Santamena is she basically belongs to Theni, had her schooling in Theni, and she did her engineering from Velamal Institute, Velamal Engineering College. And after that, she started preparing for civil service examination, and quite long a wait for her, but she never gave up. And there used to be a saying that Winston Churchill was asked to speak to students of Cambridge when he was passing by. When the Vice Chancellor asked him to address the students, he refused to. He said that to address the students at the short notice is not going to be working, because I'm going to address the future citizens. So I will not, because I need to prepare. But he said, the Vice Chancellor said, give them 4 words, that's enough. Then he went and told them, never, never, never give up. So that's we must have seen this as wall posters. And for civil service examination also, this never, never, never give up works out well. And Santamena is one good example for that. She has qualified to interview a couple of times. In 2015, when Chennai was completely floating in the floods, she had to write her mains, And with amidst all the rain and flood, she attended the mains and qualified interview, but unfortunately she couldn't make it. And the next year again, she qualified interview, she could not make. But the twist was another next two attempts. The next two very attempts, she lost her prelims itself. She never gave up. And the sixth attempt she gave this year, 2019, amidst the COVID situation. And one another thing I would like to record here is that when she was, she's married, and when she was writing her prelims, she was pregnant, and she had a baby when she was writing the prelims. She was about 1 week before the date of delivery of the baby, and immediately after the prelims, she delivered the baby. And then with the 3 months old baby, she attended the mains. And amidst the COVID situation, she attended the interview and come out with flying colors. And she is now sitting before you as a best example of never give up. And as long as you have the spirit in you, nothing is insurmountable. And the institution where you are sitting is also giving you a platform for that, and such supportive system, having a separate department to mold the students to competitive examinations, more specifically civil service examination, and Dr. Ilango sir having very rich experience in guiding them, and such a supportive principal sir and staff. It should not be a big deal. And let me now stop here and give the task to Meena to take it over. Santhi Meena, please, I may welcome you to take it over.
Unmute audio.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah, yes.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I feel a moment of pride to be a part of this webinar. I feel elated to share my experience here so that such experiences will motivate other candidates for future civil servants and who are going to participate in the whole process with all will and motivation. Thank you. I'd like to share PowerPoint now. So, good evening, friends. I would like to share my experience with you. My experience right from when I began my graduation and today clearing this examination over a period of, I would say, 10 years. I would like to share this experience with you, which would be helpful for you to relate it with yourself. How I was when I was doing my engineering and when I started my preparation. Because all that we do is we wanted to achieve something, but most of the times we do not get the right guidance at the right point in time. So we keep distracted and diverted into so many things. However, when we wish to achieve something, I personally have always been believing a concept which Abdul Kalam sir say, that is called cosmic conspiracy. I hope many of you would have come across the term. The idea is very simple. When you have a strong will towards achieving something, the whole cosmos will be helping you. You will come across guidance, support system, everything. The moment you are strongly willed towards achieving a goal. So that is what took me all through this process over a long period of time. As Ganesha was mentioning, I was not someone who made it to the first attempt or the second attempt or at a very early stage. I took a very long time. In fact, the experiences I had over this long time would be something that can be a learning point to many of the candidates who wish to become civil servants. So I have tried to consolidate some 5 points which I would love to tell my younger self, say when I was in say 20 or 19. So if I go back 10 years and if I want to tell my younger self that this is what you should do, I thought of jotting those down and I got some 5 points. So what I'm going to do is just share it with you now so that it may help you when I believe that you are in 18, 19 or 20 years of age. So it would help you. Right away, moving on to the point. The first point I wanted to tell you is being distracted is very, very, very normal. We always think that today in this era, we see children, say right in 7th standard or 8th standard, they are motivated to go to say JEE entrance coaching or NEET coaching. So at a very early point in life, children are motivated to do something, achieve something. So we are in this environment. So it is obvious that we need to set high goals, we need to achieve something, and we need to be someone. All these things are naturally in our environment, be it the family, be it the school, or be it the college. No matter wherever we are, this idea of competition, that you have to be someone, you have to place yourself somewhere, is natural. We are in that environment, you cannot escape that. However, it is not that everyone is always focused. The chances of distraction is very, very high, and we most of us keep switching between goals. One day we will think we need to become say a doctor, or we will become an engineer, or we will become a scientist, or there are n number of possibilities, and we keep ourselves distracted by social media. Whenever we see something inspiring, we want to be that. And we have seen so many people like animation, YouTuber, these are the common trend now, which are totally unconventional. Though the society approves this or not is a big question. However, such distraction keep coming and going. So if you are in that point in time, do not worry, it is very, very, very normal. Which means you will be distracted by so many opportunities, so many inspirations, and you may not be very clear about whether really I want to be a civil servant. You may not know. I personally was in that position. I would say when I entered engineering in my first year, I was like, I should be properly placed in a good company, in a core company. I was an electronics engineer. So all that I wanted in my first year was I want to place myself in some good electronics company, the core company, not the IT one. So this was the thing in my first year. But in my second year, when I came across this GMAT and GRE thing, MBA, there was a burst of people like doing MBA or MS, especially abroad. So such opportunities I got, and I got to meet such people. So I started preparing for GMAT and MBA, all those stuff. So in fact, I gave my GMAT and I got cleared, and I got a seat in a decent university too. So this happened in my third year itself. And in third year, I decided, do I really want to do it, or shall I do something else? Why I wanted to tell you this is, no matter whatever we wish for, things keep changing. It is nothing wrong, because all these distractions gave so many things for me to learn. It gave me an exposure. So if you are in that point in time wherein you do not really know whether you want to be a civil servant, and you are here to know better about that, it is very, very normal. Do not be worried. So as I said, in third year, I was like, I wanted to do MBA and I was fully focused, and even I was ready to prepare the finances. But all of a sudden, a set of my friends started talking about the civil services. So I came across this idea and I went through the syllabus. That made me think, why not this? Because this exam was considered to be, is considered to be still the most challenging of all exams. And it was only this idea that this is challenging, it is difficult to crack. It was this only idea that made me to take civil services. So I got placed in my final year in the 7th semester. After I got placement and I got my order in my hands, I decided, no, I'm not going to continue in this job. Instead, I want to do civil services. So over 4 years, so many things have come into my mind, and I have decided every moment I'll decide with all my heart that this is what I'm going to do. Still the things keep changing, and it changed for the good, and today I'm a civil servant. I feel happy about that. I wanted to share this experience with you because in 18, 19 and 20, this is how we will be. Most of us will be, as long as we do not have a very strong background, be it a family or relatives who give us an exposure that this is good for you, this is your personality, if you do this, this will be better. As long as you do not get such kind of advice, most of us will be distracted. 90% of us will be more exploring it by our own. So when we are doing as a self exploration, we keep moving between different goals. So it is nothing wrong, and it is very normal. Today if you think civil service is right, yes, explore that, learn more about that. And tomorrow if you feel a different thing, do explore that also. When you explore multiple options, you will understand what you really want to do. And after that such exploration, if you still feel civil services is the best, go ahead and start the preparation. That being said, the next point I would like to tell you is, so it is a follow-up to what I told you earlier. Being distracted is normal. So your goal will not be very clear. You may not know what you really want to be. You would have chosen a course out of some interest. So when you're doing the degree, you get opportunities, you get inspiration from different people, from different arena. In that moment, you may not really know what your goal is, what you really want to do. Goal doesn't mean what you really want to achieve after your graduation. It can be even a goal for your next semester or your next year or your next competition or next in any examination. Whatever it is, you may not have a goal at any point in time. Sometimes you will have goal, sometimes you will keep on changing, and most of the times you do not know where you really want to reach. The destination will be very blurred or unclear. In such point in time, what I would tell you is, believe in yourself, believe that something interesting is going to happen, and just trust the path and move on. Here again, I want to emphasize the concept of cosmic conspiracy. Believe in yourself and keep thinking about that, keep talking about that to people. Go explore. Today, now that we are overconnected with internet, at the at a click of your mouse, you will have access to so many ideas, so many efforts. In fact, this pandemic has made us to learn anything sitting at home. Just internet connectivity will be more than enough to learn anything. And in fact, if you want to prepare for civil services, again, you can sit at home with your system or your laptop. You can obviously prepare for civil services too. So when we have so many opportunities, it is difficult for us to set a goal, and it may make most of us like feel I'm not in the right path, or I don't get the right guidance. Sorry. Okay. Okay. There was an interruption. Sorry. So most of us we would feel that we do not set a goal, like we keep wavering here and there. Is it wrong? Am I doing it rightly? So such questions keep coming up, especially when our family and our friends start questioning what you really want to do. You're in your final year. You have to decide what you want to do, and that too in this situation, where most of the conventional ideas are questioned, conventional form of employment are questioned, or conventional idea of being settled is questioned. This idea of goal keep changing, and sometimes we would feel that we do not have a goal at all, but we have only a process or a path which we are doing. In such point in time, I would tell you, just believe in yourself, keep moving, keep following, make sure there is progress, make sure there is some motion. And if you're doing it with all your heart and with all your willpower, this cosmic conspiracy will definitely happen. That is what happened to me in my final year, because out of the blue, my friends started talking about civil services. In fact, I inquired few institutes about this examination only for a friend of mine. On the contrary, he took up the IT job and I entered civil services. Why I tell you this is, civil service was not my goal at all. In fact, it was someone else's goal. But when I was accompanying them in the process, I developed an interest towards that, and I ended up here, and I ended up here for good. One thing that has changed my life in whole, like me transformed into a different person, happened during the civil service preparation of 6 years. So this is why I say, when you believe in yourself, no matter whether you have a goal or not, you are going to get where you deserve to be. So with that, I would like to tell you the next point. Now that you do not have a goal, or you have developed a goal, you have developed an interest or somewhere, coming to that point in time, and that you have decided that you are going to do civil services, there comes the question, how am I going to approach this exam? I believe most of you here would know the exam process. The exam process consists of 3 stages: prelims, mains, and interview. And it happens over a year, which means approximately it would take 10 months right from the stage 1 of the exam till the final result. So it is relatively a very long process, because you cannot relate this with your, say, semester exam. Most of us, we would have known, semester exam doesn't mean that we sit and study all through the study holidays or all through the 4 months of the semester. Most of us study just the day before the semester exam, or just the day before the midterm exams, whatever we have. That pattern of preparation, which has been there all through our school days and the college also, is not similar to the civil services. Civil services is something very different, wherein your preparation itself takes a year, and followed by that, the exam itself takes another year. And in the exam process, the very unique aspect is you have to clear prelims. Only after clearing that, you will enter the mains, and after mains, you will enter interview. And in some point in time, if you are missing in a particular stage, for example, if you couldn't clear mains, the next attempt when you give, you should start again from the prelims. So this is a very long process which requires a consistent form of preparation. This you would have known, and there are so many sources to understand how this exam really happens. So for those of you who believe that this is what you wanted to do, for you, preparation is something that should be like developing a system. What I refer to as system here is, we have seen, we have been preparing for different exams. As I was telling you, for semester exam, we don't prepare for every day, or we don't prepare very consistently. And the we need not prepare in very a systematic manner for all those exams. Although we require to do that, we don't do it normally. However, civil services requires you to prepare over a long period of time. For instance, where we have to prepare the current affairs for the civil services, that I think you should have known. You should read newspapers, you should be updated with whatever is happening day to day. So such process does not happen over a month or over a few weeks, whereas it should happen over a year. When we do a process for about a period of time of a year, it is not possible we maintain our tempo all the time. There will be always moments of ups and downs. We may not be consistent all the time. Our energy levels will not be high all the time. It keeps wavering. It will be, at one point in time, we'll be very high and we will feel fully motivated and preparing for, say, 12 hours or 14 hours per day. At some time we will not be able to take up the book itself. For that only, I am suggesting you to develop a system. A system is something which works in an automated manner without looking into the results. Okay. I'm directly relating this with a semester exam because semester exam happens over a couple of months. You write an exam and you get a result within 2 months, and you will be able to assess yourself whether you are right or wrong, whether this method is right or wrong, whether how am I going to improve myself. All these questions can be answered within a short period of time, whereas civil services you cannot do that, which means you have to develop a system wherein you self-assess yourself. You will not have external environment to assess. You will have a preparation methodology, and when you prepare day by day, you will have ups and downs wherein you will have to stop and assess yourself. And this should happen regularly. 1 week you will prepare, and the next week you may not prepare. So in sorry. So when you prepare in that manner, you will not be able to do it on your own, and it is at that moment the institution where we prepare comes into play. In my case, when I wanted to do civil services, and when I decided this is what I'm going to do, I inquired about few institutes. As I was telling you, I inquired it with a few of my friends, and I chose Ganesh IAS. I chose Ganesh IAS for an important reason, because I was told that I am given personal attention here, because I understood the exam process. This is a very long exam. I need to be consistent for a very long time. Knowing my nature, I understood that I have been doing well in my college exam or all those school exams, which happens over a short period of time. But this exam requires me to sit over something for more than a year. For that, I need to have a proper system which will keep me motivated all through the preparation. So I wanted to choose a place which will give me personalized attention, understand where I am lagging, and or where I am doing well, and give me an assessment consistently every period, every point in time. Whenever I feel low, I wanted some system to help me. So such system is what I wanted to develop for myself, and I chose Ganesh IAS for that. And in that process, we come across mentors. Mentors are very important because, again, you are a different person, and everyone has a different interest and different skills. Based on your skills, you have to approach the exam in a different manner. That thing will be rightly pointed out by the mentor, and that role of mentor is what you get from the institution. I would like to use this moment to extend my gratitude to the team Ganesh IAS and Ganesh sir, who has been mentoring me all these years. As sir was mentioning, my exam preparation and this result was not a linear path. In fact, I would say it is totally an entangled string. I had all ups and downs. I have been moving from different directions, and in this whole process, the system I developed for myself is the institution itself. I come sit in the institution, prepare. I share my experiences with them, like how I feel, whether I feel low or high, how I motivate myself. So that mentoring role is what every candidate should develop for themselves. That is what I mean here, system. And the system being developed, the next thing one has to focus on is setting up the environment. How is it different from the system by itself is the environment I would like to emphasize here is the environment of like-minded people. Like-minded people are those who have same set of goals, same set of aspiration, and they experience the same set of challenges in the process. In this context, I would suggest in my preparation of over 6 years, I developed a study circle here where few of our the students who prepared along with me, we set up a kind of group where we discussed things, we discussed it together, we shared our the problems we face, that helped us to keep in line with the preparation over a long period of time. In fact, in my case, if you see, one of my friend who prepared along with me cleared it 3 years ago, cleared the exam. She's into IAS. We prepared together. She cleared it 3 years ago, but after that, I was preparing for another 3 years. In the process, it was she who kept me motivated. So this is what I mean by the like-minded people. The like-minded people is, it could be anyone. For me, it is one of my friend who was preparing along with me, and it is not necessarily that there are so many like-minded people who are in different fields also. What I would suggest here is, if you have a clear ambition or if you have a goal to be someone really big in life, always focus on developing this like-minded environment and keep yourself connected to that environment always. Being connected is not that you keep talking to them every day, but periodically you will have to connect with them and get updates about what is really happening around in the field or around in the society as a whole. That will give you a wide perspective about what you really want to do and what are the possible challenges you are going to face. In my case, if you see, as I was saying, I was writing this exam in different circumstances. When I was writing in my mains in 2015, Chennai was in floods and my residence was under water for about a week. So we were totally like house arrest for a week, and that happened right before my mains, exactly 20 days before the mains. So this kind of natural challenges that we face will take a toll over the exam, will take a toll over the preparation. Another example, the most recent one would be the COVID. I believe that many of you would have experienced that, how it has toppled down the environment that has been here. So it would obviously affect your preparation in future. So in those moments of crisis, it is this like-minded set of people, the environment that is like-minded, will help you keep going and traverse through this crisis with grace. So all that you want to do when you want to be a civil servant is get yourself in a place where you have like-minded people, and such environment I found in Ganesh IAS, and I did not prepare anywhere else. I have been sticking to this place for all these 6 years. A few of my friends have gone to different places too, but when I was very clear that this is a place I have got my like-minded set of environment, I stuck to that, and that has been really fruitful. And the last point I would tell you is, be ready for the long game. I have been telling you this right from the beginning. The exam process does not end like your semester exam. It does not start, say, with 5 papers or 6 papers. You write it, you get a result in a couple of months, and whatever marks you get, you finish it right there and move on to the next semester. It doesn't happen this way. This exam, you have to take preparation by itself will take at least 1 year, and the exam process, the first attempt that you give, will take 1 year. If you could not clear at any stage of the exam, you will have to take the attempt in the next year, which means one attempt is equivalent to a year, and only if you clear that attempt, you will feel that the attempt is useful. Otherwise, you will feel the attempt has been missed. So when this is the pattern of the exam, before you begin, you should be ready to play the long game, just like a marathon. A marathon requires you to be consistent, have the energy level till the end, develop different strategies, like when you should rise the speed or when you should maintain the speed. All those things are associated with the marathon. So is the case with this exam. This exam is going to take a very long period, at least 2 years, if you are going to make it in the first attempt. Or if you are not capable of making in the first attempt, you will take 2 or 3 attempts. That will require you to be consistent over a very long period of time. And in this moment, I would like to share my experience as a female candidate. As a female, I had different set of challenges. Doesn't mean the male do not have challenges. I would like to emphasize the challenges a female would face here. Female in our society, the female is expected to get married. So the pressure to get married will be there for female candidates. And after getting married, if they want to prepare, there are definitely challenges. And the role of being a mother is still more challenging. I experienced all these phases. I prepared when I was not married. I prepared after my marriage, and in the last attempt when I cleared this exam, I was with my son. So I was pregnant when I was preparing, and prelims when I wrote, it was 1 week due to my delivery, and mains was with 2 months baby. This, why I wanted to tell you this point is, the life process will keep happening. It will not wait for us. In my case, I got married and I got a baby. All these things were life process which was happening, and it was a natural process. I have to come across that. However, I was focusing on my goal that no matter whatever happens in my life, I will stick to it and I will move on. It was that attitude that made me come through all this and clear the exam. For this, what I did is, I developed a support system at my home. Developing a support system is when you are very clear with your goal, and when you keep explaining this with your family or relatives or friends, whoever it is, they will definitely help you. It is the measure of how strong you are towards your will. This is what, if you are very strong that this is what you want to achieve, and you keep talking about that and you keep fighting for that, definitely the support system will come. Most of the time, female candidates, I am telling you with my experience, most of the times female candidates take an excuse that I'm a female, that I'm married, my family doesn't support, my husband doesn't support, and I have children, I cannot prepare. No matter whatever difficult circumstances we are, there are definitely a set of people who are going to support, and that is what I told you, the like-minded environment. If you are strong towards your goal, and if you really want to do that, you will definitely find that environment and stick to that. And when you are strongly willed, no matter what the environment pushes you or stresses you against your goal, it will not affect you, and you will definitely do it. I am an example for that case. So always remember, the exam is not something that you can do in one go or in one moment. It will require you to spend a long period of time for this, at least 2 years, and keep yourself ready for that game and your energy level high all through the exam process, by developing a system and a like-minded environment. If you can do that, civil service exam will be a very, very easy one, and it is not as difficult as it is boasted by the media. So these are the 5 things I thought I would tell my younger self. I hope this would be helpful to you. And if you have any doubts specific to the exam preparation, you may ask me. I would be more than grateful to answer that.
Before getting into there, I would like to tell you students few words. As a teacher and a coach of a civil service examination for the past 20 years, Meena as a candidate has shared her experience through this examination process, and I thank her for that. At the same time, what needs to be done? There are several of you would have been in the first year, just joined the college from the school, and there may be people who have been through the process and maybe in the second year or final year of your graduation and aspiring to prepare for civil service exams. My suggestion to you with respect to how to go about preparation is that, first of all, hold back your roots. Whatever you have studied as part of your 12th standard schooling, recall all the concepts. whatever concepts that you have brought in, right, whatever concepts that you have learned, be careful about it. The most important fact of the civil service examination is that it is an examination of fundamentals. The 3 stages of examination, prelims, mains and interview, is basically, this examination is basically an examination of fundamentals, and it is an examination of your personality. It's a test of your personality. In fact, the whole preparation is personality test. That is exactly what Santamina was trying to put across to you. It is not about your knowledge that is going to see you through as an officer, but it is just your personality that is going to make you an officer. Having a vision, set a goal for yourself, all those things will make up one's personality. So the entire preparation is a personality test, and this entire examination is for the personality test. And as a personality test, as an aspect of personality, is only the knowledge is being tested. And when they go for testing the knowledge, it is very simple. They test your fundamentals. So be focused on your fundamentals. Whatever you have learned in the schools, focus on the fundamentals. Whatever you are going to learn in this process and in the future, focus on the fundamentals. Be clear with the concepts. Whatever subject, whatever faculty you are into, be clear with your concepts. That is one important thing. Secondly, the most important base of this examination, and for that matter, any competitive examination, is going to be the current affairs. Keep track of what is happening around you. For this, I would strongly recommend you to follow the Lok Sabha TV and Rajya Sabha TV, where even the news, I would suggest you to follow them. There are several programs that gives you quite a lot of informations, quite a lot of critical views, quite a lot of debates that helps you to develop your perspectives. And third, use the place where you are. The most important. When you are in the college, when you are in the institution like that of MCC, where you have got in a humpty number of professors who have well-trained, well-experienced in guiding people, you have to make use of them. The library, you have to make use of them. The teachers, you have to make use of them. I would strongly recommend you do not be reluctant or hesitant to disturb your teachers. And so a student who does not disturb his teacher will not learn. So please do go disturb your teachers, make use of the place. And following current affairs, again, even in the current affairs also, go through the fundamentals and the concepts. Because every news item, if you take, it has got 3 important aspects: the facts involved in it, facts and concepts involved in it, facts, concepts, persons, places. These 4 are involved in it. Then what happened, what is happening, why is it happening? The analytical aspect has to be focused on that. Then try to form an opinion, right? Try to form an opinion. These are the most fundamental aspects. And I don't want to be in the way between you and Santamina again. You can post your questions over here, and I have 2 questions already coming in. One, Vedapriya has asked, what books can I use for reference? And even Santosh has asked for books. Meena, please, you can answer them.
Hello, Vedapriya.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am.
So you have asked me the books for preparation.
Yes, ma'am.
Basically, to start with, you can read NCERT books. NCERT books is 9th to 12th standard, social science. There is history, geography, 9th to 12th standard, and you can read economics, 9th to 12th standard, and
Okay,
polity books, India Constitution at Work, and there are few say 8th to 12th standard NCERT books that is related to the civil service syllabus.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
I may also add to Meena with regard to the books. If you had not studied in the CBSE schools, somebody who has studied in CBSE school can focus on NCERT, or otherwise even the state board books are very good. Even the state board books are very good. Supposing if you had done science, right? If you had done science, or if you had done something that is not connected to economics and all, you can focus on the 11th standard economy book would be better for your economy basics. And there are a few other books as well. One of the books for economics is Indian Economy Key Concepts, published by McGraw-Hill. You can order it written by one of our own students, Shankar Ganesh, who happens to be an IRS officer now, Deputy Commissioner of Income Tax. That book is one of the very important, very good books for strengthening your basics. And regarding all other books, you can always use the NCERT books or the state board books. And after you complete your graduation and when you really sit for preparation, we can go in for real civil services oriented books. You can go. And one Vishwa has asked another question: how to overcome the depression factor? How to overcome the depression factor and circumstances you wrote are challenging, and please tell the cause of the willpower, ma'am. Please.
Good evening, Vishwa.
Good evening, ma'am.
You asked me how I overcome the depression factor. The depression, yes, it happens. Like every time you take up every stage of the exam, you always believe that you are going to make it. You will feel that you are going to win. And if you don't succeed in that process, you will definitely get depressed. In my case, if you ask me, both my attempts which I gave interview 2015 and 2016, both the times I lost by 5 marks. One time 5 marks and the other time was 7 marks. So that was the close margin. There are a few of my friends who have lost, say, prelims in 0.5 marks. So when the margin is very, very tiny, obviously you will fall into depression. It is at that point in time, the like-minded environment in the system helps. The system will help where if you are confident that you have given your fullest, you have been consistently preparing every day, you have been focused towards that, and the system is very strong, you will definitely come out of it because you know that you have given your best, but still there is something missing, and you will learn that which is missing, and you will focus on that. So it is the system which will help you come out of it immediately. And the second thing that would help you more is the like-minded environment. That is what I mentioned as the mentor, the role of mentor. It is today we are connected to internet and we are exposed to so many resources for this preparation. Today we have all online resources. You can prepare it at your home. However, the element of human connection is very important in this exam, especially for the question you asked. There are possibilities where you will feel frustrated, you will be depressed, that what is this? There is no end. I couldn't see the end. It is very distant and it is very blurring. It is in those point of time, the role of mentor is very important. It is they who will give you that human connection towards this exam. If you ask me what made me come out of all those failures of 5 attempts, was this environment that I got in Ganesha is, no matter whatever the result is, I keep talking to them, they will say, come on, you can do it. See, this is where you're going wrong. This is what you have to improve. So the moment of failure is transformed into a moment of self-assessment with the help of your mentor. If you can do that, coming out of depression is an easy task. Where we fail most of the time is we feel that we are not good enough, that we are not fit for this. If you are consistently munching on such kind of thought, you will not come out of depression. What I did luckily was I was not munching on that thought. Rather, I started questioning myself. When I really couldn't make it, I thought this makes it much more interesting. Now that I gave my fullest, but still I couldn't make it, what is wrong? So it is just the way we look at it. To change the way we look at it is the role of the mentor. Find the right mentor, you are through. I hope I answered that question.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. So,
There is two questions here I find. One, Daniel has asked how many hours of study is required, and one other person has also asked this question: how many hours of study? As such, there is no hard and fast rule as to this many number of hours you have to study. At times, even during, this is a very $1,000,000 question, which even we also had when we prepared. And we were told during that time that one has to prepare for about 20 hours a day and all, which is humanly impossible. And I personally call, if somebody is sitting and studying for 20 hours, I would say he himself is violating his own human rights, which is atrocious. Daniel, I would tell you, how many hours of sleep your body requires? You begin from that. Because a sound mind is in sound body. As long as your body is well prepared, your body, the human body is a tool. It's the most important tool that we have. தமிழ் தெரியும் அப்படின்னு நான் சொல்லுவேன். பாரதியார் வந்து சொல்லிப்பார், பந்திரை விரும்பியபடி செல்லும் உடல் கேட்டேன்னு சொல்லிப்பார். விசையுறு பந்தினை போல் உள்ளம் விரும்பியபடி செல்லும் உடல் கேட்டேன்னு சொல்லிப்பார். So the mind may set your goal, you may have your vision, but until and otherwise your body cooperates, you will not be able to do anything whatever you want to do. So your preparation plan should begin with how many hours of sleep your body wants, and for your body to cooperate with you. Only then will you be able to do something that you want to actually do. So it is about not the number of hours that UPSC preparation requires. Instead, it is the way how you will put your time available to you to utmost use. Principal sir in the very beginning used the term, how many of you had caught it, I don't know, smart work. It is not hard work. So first of all, think about how many hours of sleep your body requires to be agile and very comfortable for a long journey. So put to that, normally 5.5 to 7 hours of sleep depending upon the body. If you are a short sleeper, 5.5 hours would be required. If you're a long sleeper, 7 hours would be required. Depending upon that, decide. And if you are a long sleeper, sleep for 7 hours and think how you will be able to use your rest of 17 hours of a day in a proper manner. And as Principal said, rightly guided you, do a smart work. That is more important. I think I've answered your question. And one more question Gray has asked, quite interesting question. While few people are clearing in the first attempt, why can't others, and what is the difference? That's a very interesting question. I would love to answer again. Clearing in first attempt, the civil service examination is not a big deal. It's about the clarity, environment, and being prepared for the long journey. What I am just reiterating what Meena had told you. Have clarity about your goal, have clarity about the exam, have clarity about the concepts, what you have to be good at, and be clear with your preparation. That is enough. So basically, I have seen many students of mine clearing in the first attempt, and those who are clearing in the first attempt are not. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. And they, first thing, what difference they make is, and in fact I would like to tell you, there are two ways of becoming successful. One is doing an uncommon thing commonly and becoming successful. The other is doing a common thing uncommonly, right? Doing an uncommon thing commonly and becoming successful. The other is doing a common thing uncommonly. The second is much easier. This is what Shiv Khera also told. Winners don't do different things, they do things differently. Try to do different, distinguish yourself. The difference begins with the winners who make to civil service in the first attempt. First thing what I have seen in them is that they first take time to understand the exam. The moment you understand the beast with which you're going to work, your work becomes half done. So understand the exam, how the questions are asked, from where the question comes, that would do. Winners don't do different things. They do things differently. Gray, I think I have answered your question. And now Meena will continue. What are the questions asked to you?
Who asked it? Who asked it?
What are the questions
What
asked to you?
were the questions asked in the interview to you? And how did you face the interview? How was the experience, your performance? Okay. I have faced interview thrice altogether. This was my third attempt which I cleared. My interview was, so I don't exactly remember all the set of questions, but I would tell you that the interview was more of my awareness about the things that were happening in Tamil Nadu and what is my opinion on that. So there was a question about how do you compare the development of Tamil Nadu with Kerala? So they asked me why Tamil Nadu is developed. What do you think are the reasons for the development? And there was one question based on this Thoothukudi Sterlite Copper Company issue. Like, what is really going on? What went wrong? And how would we proceed with that? That was a question. And there was a question on this neutrino observatory, which belongs to my native district, Theni. So there was a question on this neutrino observatory. And there was a case study question wherein they explained me a project, an optical fiber cable project, and they asked me, there is a challenge in the project, what you really do. So in general, what I would tell you is my interview experience was more of how I look at the society as a whole and what opinion have I developed about it, any social issue for that matter, or am I positive about the social setup and am I positive about what I can do when I enter the service. It was more associated with it. So the questions were like, if you become a civil servant, what will you do? How will you approach that? So overall, if you ask me, the experience was, am I ready to be a civil servant who can cater to the needs of the people and who can empathize with the people? So if you want to learn something out of just my experience, I tell you, do not shy away from understanding what is happening around you, at least in your native place, at least in your native state. You should know what is happening and you should develop an opinion about it. It is not that we can develop an opinion about everything. It is where the role of expert plays. Say if you read something, if you come across something, feel free to talk about that to somebody who is related to that topic. It could be anything. If something something you find interesting, do not stop there. Try to explore more. Talk about that to people who are experts in that field. You can see, now that being in a college, you are exposed to people who are in different experts in different field. So you cannot say that I cannot understand this, I cannot know more about this. It is all that is needed is you want to be little inquisitive, and that curiosity will take you a long way. And in fact, that curiosity is what is needed for this examination. Approach everything with a curious sense. I would say a childlike curiosity. It will help you to see through this exam all the way, right through the interview stage. I hope I have answered that question.
And there is one more question regarding this thing. Which age you started?
Okay.
At which age you started the path towards UPSC?
So, at which age? That is what I told you. I began this only when I was 22 years of age, when I was in my final year. In fact, that was not for me at all. One of my friends wanted to prepare for civil services. On his behalf, he's from a different place. So on his behalf, I was inquiring few institutes in Chennai, like how do they teach, what do they charge, all those things I was doing. When I was doing this process, I developed an interest towards the exam. I went through the syllabus, I saw the exam pattern, I was seeing certain toppers interview, the way they spoke, and then I understood what the exam is all about. Until then, I did not have any idea about, I didn't even know what is this civil services. Because I would tell you this, I developed in an environment where right after 12 there were only two choices. Either I should do engineering or I should do medicine. There was no other choice. And there was no other exposure. Like, no one has told me that there is something called as civil services, you can do that. I came across the civil services. See, obviously we would have heard about IAS, but we would not have been exposed to what it really is and what it would take. So when we are not exposed to such things, obviously it will take some time. So in my case, I was exposed to this whole idea only when I was 22 years of age, that too through my friend. And it was my slight interest towards that took me in this path, and slowly I understood the process. You are much more fortunate than me that you are understanding, you are exposed to this early in stage, because the early bird is better here. Because I would tell you, you are right, you are just after the school. If you were just completed your school, so you are still relevant with that idea. For this exam preparation, you need to read the NCERT books. At 19, you can obviously go back to your school books and read. But I started reading this only in 23. So if you start early, it is better. I was a bit late, if you ask me.
Yeah, that's another question related to optional and experience towards that.
Okay. I chose geography optional. See, when I was confused about what to choose as an optional, I was given guidance that always remember when you choose an optional, you should see whether you get a right guidance for that subject. The guidance is very easy. People say that you can obviously read it on your own. Optional can be prepared by self, that you can take books, you can just read it. Yes, you can do that, I don't deny. However, there is an edge for people who do it with guidance. That is definitely there. So before I chose my optional, I saw which subject I can get guidance. That is a mentor who can guide me. One. And two, whether I have a natural liking towards the subject. For that, what my teacher suggested me is just read the NCERT books. There will be one subject that you really like. You can go with that. And I have a personal interest towards drawing. So I thought geography would be a better option. But that doesn't mean that geography is the best choice just because you like drawing. There are multiple factors to it. So always see whether you get the right guidance, right set of books near you. Okay, near you here, it doesn't mean that it is available online. I can just enroll and do that. Always see whether you can physically see a person and seek guidance. It is very, very important. It matters a lot. It mattered a lot to me. That is one. And two, see whether you have a direct liking towards subject. You should at least basically like it. You should have a basic sense towards the subject. And three, your specific interest, that you have read that subject or earlier. And one more thing is, you need not think that whatever graduation you have done, you should only choose a subject relevant to that. Not at all. Because mine was engineering, which is no way connected to geography. I chose geography just because I could get guidance and it is related to drawing. And what I did is I borrowed few optional books from my friends. I just read a few chapters and I thought, yes, this is the optional I would like to take. So it is more of a personal experience, and the factors that you should consider is guidance, books, and interest.
To add on to that, with respect to the optional subjects, Daniel has also asked one question as to how whether philosophy as an optional be workable. Veena had already answered the question. I want to sum it up. Regarding the optional subjects, generally when you go through the websites, when you browse through the internet, you will get scoring optionals and all those stuff. I would suggest you, this is a long run marathon. So you will have to be prepared for studying the optional, at least for, studying multiple times for multiple attempts. So you must choose a subject that is interesting to you. At the same time, you must be pragmatic in your approach. There may be a subject that might interest you, but you may not get enough number of materials, or you may not enough books to study or guidance, or there may be an optional which may be taken by very less number of people. As a result, you may not get the advantage of law of average. See, UPSC does not have any compulsion to choose candidates from the optional subjects in proportion to the number of applications. Definitely not. But when more number of people opt for a particular subject, obviously more number of people would be selected from that subject. So when you are interested in a subject that is interesting to very less number of people and very less number of people are going to opt it, you may not be able to reap the benefit of the law of average, right? And Daniel, I would like to suggest you philosophy is one such optional. If you are okay with that, go ahead with philosophy. Be informed that this is a difficulty that you may face. Similarly, when you don't have more number of students, probably you may not get guidance and you may not be able to gauge your preparation as well. You may not be able to assess your competition. All right. So these are some of the difficulties. So to sum up, I would suggest you, if with respect to optional subjects, choose a subject that is interesting to you, give the maximum weightage to that. Second, check for availability of books, materials, guidance, right? Books, materials and guidance. Give the second weightage to that. 80% of the weightage must go to your interest. Another 10% weightage must go to your materials availability, guidance availability, etc. The number of students who may be available for you to gauge yourself. And third, only you will have to go focus on third and most important thing as well. It's not something that should be, because I'm telling it lost, it is least. What is the trend? Whether it is suitable for the examination, right? How many people are actually appearing with an optional, and how many people are coming out with the optional subject like that? All right. These informations and analysis are very much available in the UPSC website itself. You can go through upsc.gov.in. You can find it out. So that is the way it is. And philosophy, Daniel, I think I've answered your question. And Christopher has asked another question: how to focus on college, and will it be difficult to manage with college studies and civil service? No, it is not going to be, because after all, you're going to study only. All that what you have to do is that you have to travel an extra mile, right? Extra mile, that's all. Morning 10 to 5, assume that you are in the college. Between 6 and 10 o'clock, you're going to study for something. You can always split your time. Allocate only 1 hour a day for civil service examination. That's enough. That will see you through. 1 hour a day spread over 3 years, which means close to 1,000 plus days is not going to be easy joke. 1,000 hours, that would be enough. But please do focus on that. All that what you have to be prepared is that you should have an open mind to travel that extra mile. If you're ready to do that, you are done. Because most of the times the subjects what you are studying in the college may also be helpful to you in the civil service exam. And for that, I would suggest you one thing. What is that 1 hour I will do? What is that extra mile you're talking about? Let me suggest you a small piece of advice. Take your 12th standard books or buy the school books. Read 1 chapter a day. That's enough. Any subject for that matter. For example, you can start with history. There are several history books which are like stories. They are written in the form of novels. If you can read Tamil, if you are a student from Tamil Nadu and if you can read Tamil, I would suggest you one thing. The whole medieval Indian history is covered in a very fluid language by cartoonist Madan. One of the wonderful books which you can make use of. And reading that would help you. Reading that would help you to clear what's known as your medieval Indian history. You can start with that. So you will not find, see, very simple. Make it a game. Make it a game. Play like a game. You yourself form a group. All those people who are aspiring to prepare for civil service in the college, you form a group. You have the Institute for Administrative Studies, which is giving you a place to sit and discuss. Form a group, develop a quiz kind of a program, and you develop in the newspaper, daily read newspapers. Take one news or 2 news or 4 news items or 5 news items, whatever number you are comfortable with. Basic concepts, as I already told you, what it is, why it is, and what is the outcome. The 3 things are there. Form a group. You can discuss amongst yourself, develop questions, conduct a quiz program like things, and in case you want any assistance, Ilango sir is there, we are all there, we will be able to assist you, and it will be very easy to manage. So all that what I would suggest you is that all that what you need to prepare for civil service during your college hours is just to travel an extra mile. That is all. I think, Christopher, I've answered your question, right? Hari, you have also asked the same question. I think Christopher's answer would be sufficient for you. Matthew has asked a question, either 6th, 8th to 12th books. Matthew, you don't have to begin with 6th onwards. If you are, you can begin with 11th, 12th to start with. And Avinash is asking question. Years of study requires a lot of memory. So could you explain reading pattern? That's this question. Reading pattern. How to? Avinash, this is a very interesting question. Avinash, have you? Let me ask you a question, Avinash. Have you ever by hearted written and by hearted your home address? I don't think no one would have done that. Right? I don't think anyone would have done that. We never write our home address and by heart it. How do we remember that? See, one important issue or one important aspect of human brain is that we underestimate our brain. We human beings underestimate the capacity of our brain and capacity of our body. How many of you recall the tour that you went during your 3rd standard? How many of you remember a small incident that happened to you 5 to 7 years back? How the brain remembers that? So what I'm suggesting you, or what my point is, there are 2 things which the brain will retain. Memory is not something that is added as an appendix. It is developed. 1, what is interesting to you, and where you show interest, the brain will remember. 2, what is familiar to you, what you are familiarizing your brain with will help the brain to retain. So the brain will retain things in which you are interested and things which you are continuously familiarizing. So do not by heart anything. Do it regularly. Do it regularly. Keep like address, right? Like address. Habituation is the fundamental thing. Develop a habit. That would be better. And Avinash has asked, years of study requires, not required. Number of years depends on how you understand the exam and approach it, right? So number of years, I would suggest you, even first attempt, people are clearing it up. All right. Yeah, we have, Marina has asked me a question where we have to select any second language for UPSC exam. Yes. In the main examination, there are 9 papers, of which 2 are language qualifying papers. One will be English compulsory and the other is any regional language you have to choose. And that regional language you have to choose from any one of the languages in the Schedule 8 of the Constitution. So if you are comfortable with Tamil, you can choose Tamil, or if you are comfortable with Hindi, you can choose Hindi, right? And remember, only and if only you clear these 2 language papers, your other papers will be evaluated. If you fail to clear the language paper, your other papers will not be evaluated at all. And Kavya Rasu, what is your opinion about choosing Tamil literature as an optional? Wonderful. When I wrote my examination, I had Tamil as one of my optionals. And it's one of the very performing optional, quite interesting as well. So Tamil literature optional is very good. Remember, again, if and if only you're interested in Tamil, you can definitely choose Tamil literature. It is a very good optional. And Ilango sir is also there, can tell you about Tamil literature. Tamil is a wonderful option. And Vishaka Singhal has asked a wonderful question again, very good question. Ma'am, please tell what are the mistakes which could be avoided? That's a wonderful question out of all. And Meena will answer to you.
I would share the mistakes that I did. See, I would directly relate it with your semester exam because that was the thing that helped me come out of it. For semester exam, we do not focus on specializing in the subject that we have exam. Okay, we are very clear, like we have to complete this exam. What are the important topics? How should we cover this? And what are the possible questions? This is the way we look at exam, the semester exam. But all of a sudden, when we start preparing of civil services, what we think is we should be an ideal we should do ideal preparation, wherein we should be specialized in all subjects. One of you have asked me that should we be expert in all topics that we prepare? Not at all, not needed. One thing I wanted to tell you is this is a competitive exam, which means it is a competition. Whoever comes with a higher score gets it. Okay, so the focus towards this exam is actually in improving your score rather than being specialized in a subject. In fact, the exam itself requires you to read general studies. The prelims exam is general studies, and the mains exam for 1000 marks, there is 4 papers, it is general studies. Only one paper, only 2 papers, 500 marks, optional paper. So all as a whole, the exam requires to be generally aware about different things, which means you need not be specialized or expert in different things. You have to get the fundamentals right in different subjects. It includes right from social science till economics. So it is everything. What mistake I did is I was like this person till my engineering, but after that I thought that civil service, when you have to prepare for civil service, you should become an ideal person. You should be expert in everything. So I started reading so many books which was not needed at all. I wanted to be specialized in any topic, which is humanly impossible considering the syllabus we have. It covers almost all different subjects. If you really want to be specialized in all those subjects, it means you are going to do post graduation in 10 different subjects, which is not possible and utterly not required for this exam itself. So one fundamental mistake which I committed and which I hear so many of the people commit is to doing too much work. And how to know what is too much and what is enough is what you learn from your guidance, that is your mentor. He will tell you what to read and what not to read, where you should stop, where you should focus. Such things is what is needed. Like the first mistake I committed is I read so many things, so many books, which is not needed. You can limit yourself with a set of books, and if you do it thoroughly, you will definitely get through the exam. This is the first mistake I committed. The second thing is, as Sir was telling, understanding the whole exam process. This is the part of the first mistake itself. See, understanding this as a competitive exam, understanding this as 3 different stages of exam. For example, if you consider prelims, the marks you score in prelims is not at all important, because in the end, it is just you have to cross the cutoff. See, if 100 marks is the cutoff out of 200, whether you get 101 or you get 150, you are treated equally in the mains. It is just clearing prelims. So when we prepare for prelims, we should focus on clearing the cutoff rather than making a higher score. Whereas in stage 2, that is mains, the marks you score, even 1 mark or 5 marks, is important when you get your final result. So this is what I call as understanding the exam. You should understand the whole exam process, and you should know what you really want to give for stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3. My mistake was this. I was focusing more on prelims. So when I cleared prelims and when I wrote my mains, I did a mistake there. I didn't give enough emphasis on mains. So that is why I missed the whole exam process by 5 marks. I told you earlier. So this is the second mistake I committed. So what I would tell you is understand the exam process first. And second is know the exam. Know what you want to do and what not to do. In fact, the most important thing of all is to know what not to do. That is what you have asked me, what are the mistakes. So the 2 things that come up to my mind right now is these 2, but you may ask others also. There are so many common mistakes and myths.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
To add on that, generally the most common mistakes what people commit is that, with respect to examination, preparation for competitive examination, is that, see, there are certain very fundamental requirements which can be done right from the college days. For instance, your language ability. You, instead of doing it through the whole 3 years when you are on graduation way, after coming to civil service, you will have you will behave as though it was an awakening to you that my English is very bad. So what I'm saying, these are all very fundamental and common mistakes. And you may be good at English, but you may be good at spellings. You may be you might not be having proper vocabulary. There are people who are good at English, good at grammatical aspects. இன்னும் சொல்ல போனா தமிழ்ல வரும்போது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப சிம்பிளா சொன்னா ஒற்றுப்பிழைகள் இதெல்லாம் ரொம்ப இப்பவே ஆரம்பிச்சு இதெல்லாம் தான் காமன் மிஸ்டேக்ஸ். நீங்க எக்ஸாம் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்றது, see very first common mistake is at focusing the exam with an idea of result. That is where the problem begins. You begin to focus on the result, you start fearing the exam. That's a most important common mistake. So see, thousands of, even the Great Wall of China was built brick by brick, right? The wall was not magically, it was fabricated and brought out over there. It was built brick by brick. So put every brick every day. Identify your weaknesses. You may be having a language issue, you may be having spelling issue, you may be having syntax issue. Somebody may be good at talking but may not be good at writing. Somebody may be having vocabulary issues. Find them out and try to patch them. This is one common thing which I in my experience find. And another important question Avinash is asking, thinking of history, dates and all to remember is disgusting. So how to face these questions? Also case study questions. Very simple, Avinash. It's very, very simple. History is not a diary of events, right? History is not a diary of events. If you feel that it is a diary of event and you have to remember dates, then that's going to be a problem. Don't take it that way. As I already told you, familiarize the events, right? Familiarize the events. Try to relate. Have you watched Shakuntala Devi movie? How Shakuntala Devi was having such a super brain memory. It was because of the lateral connectivity. Interconnect things. So history is nothing but interconnecting of events, and it is not diary of dates. Change your opinion about the history, will be through. And maybe if you have any problem, you can contact me. I shall assist you in doing that. And prelims and mains. Matthew has asked a question. Prelims and main conducted one day or separate. It is separated. Prelims will be conducted in the month of May generally, June first week generally, and mains will be in the month of September, October. So while prelims is objective type and only one day, mains will be written examination, and then interview will be in the interview will be in the February, March. So I think we have been able to do justice to you with respect to this. And also I would like to thank the college administration, Ilango sir, for opportunity for us to present ourselves before you. And you all students, I place my thanks to you, and I thank you very much for your patience to listen and being so much interactive, because interacting and asking more questions actually motivates us to tell you quite a lot of things. So thank you all. And I may request one of you students to give me the feedback as to how the session was.
Hello.
Yeah, please tell me.
Hello, sir,
Yeah,
and hello, ma'am. First of all, ma'am, congratulations for your UPSC Civil Service examination. You crossed it, and thank you so much, ma'am, for. I mean, we got idea of what steps and strategy should be taken towards the civil service examination, and also the comprehensive view, not only the part of civil service examination, and also at the beginning you were talking about the talking about what we should do when we are distracted or we don't have a proper expectations on the goal, and that was very fulfilling, ma'am. And your story was very motivating and very valuable for aspirants like us to prepare you civil service examination. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your thank you, ma'am, and also sir, for this session. Thank you.
Thank you very much, one and all. And I think I have tried to answer all the questions whatever you have asked, but unfortunately due to paucity of time we may not have been able to answer most of the questions. Probably would have missed something. We have given you the mobile number over here in the chat box. You can call us after the session. We will be happy enough, doubly happy to help you out in that. And at this moment, I also extend my warm thanks and heartfelt thanks to the MCC College, the students, and the principal sir for his kind time he spent to come over here and participate in this. And thank you very much, and wish you all the very best. Students, I would love to see you all as officers. Wish you very all the best. Thank you very much.